Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, this is Steve Forrest with Hills Forrest Smith Golf Course Architects coming to you today from Highland Meadows Golf Club in Sylvania, Ohio. I'm pleased to have Arthur Hills, Shawn Smith, and Greg Pattinson with me today. Of course, Arthur and Shawn are with our firm, and Greg Pattinson is the superintendent here at Highland Meadows. Arthur, I know that you were a member here a long time ago. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your history with Highland Meadows Golf Club?
Yeah, my history with Highland Meadows Golf Club was that I first joined here in about 58 or 9 or something like that. And it didn't cost much of anything to join, but my wife was aghast because we didn't have any money and we could ill afford to be members here. But anyway, we stuck it out and we stayed here eventually for about 30 years. I was a longtime member of the board and Greens Committee and worked closely with a guy named Baldy Wisman, C.B. Wisman, who was a character here at the club. He liked to drink martinis, and he would say, "Come on in here in the bar and we'll have something." And we'd go in and we'd have a martini or two and go from there.
I know back then the golf course was probably similar to it is today, except for about the last 5 or 6 years where we've been doing some work out here. Are there any changes that kind of took place between 1960 and 2000 that you recall in terms of the layout of the golf course or any features?
Well, the golf course really hasn't changed very much since number 3 green was relocated, which was about 20 years ago. And at that time, maybe 4 green was rebuilt also. But the golf course really hasn't changed very much. In the late 50s or early 60s, there was a superintendent here by the name of Donald Ross, strangely enough, and he put in, I don't know if it's a present irrigation system or not, but he put in a single row irrigation system virtually by himself during the days when the weather would permit it in the late season. And that made quite a difference in the golf course, because before that I had what they call quick coupling devices, where they go out and stick a sprinkler in the sprinkler head in the ground. But Donald Ross did a lot to improve the golf course.
Greg, I know things started to change around here as the LPGA continued their tour still up in Ohio. It was originally the Jamie Farr tournament held at Stone Oak, which was originally Glengarry Country Club. Do you recall when the LPGA moved to Highland Meadows for the first Jamie Farr what's now called the Marathon Classic?
I believe it was 86 or 87 when they moved over from Glengarry, which is now Stone Oak. In all honesty, we really don't. We're kind of midsummer, so we're in our peak season at that time. So we stopped mowing rough. Maybe, a little more detail work, like kind of inside the ropes, and we can focus on those areas. But all in all, it's pretty much the same that we do on a daily basis.
It was pretty evident as soon as the players stepped on the property that the practice facility was not really up to the standards that they would hope to find on an LPGA Tour Stop golf course. So one of the first things that we tried to fix, if you will, was the practice facility to make it more, first of all, to create more tee space and to make it a little bit more interesting. Shawn, what's your recollection of the project at that point and how we proceeded down those lines?
Right. Well, I think it started back in 2006, maybe 2005, when we first started looking at it. In the club, along with some feedback they had from the LPGA, they recognized that their driving range was a little on the short side. The driving range tee itself was undersized and would get worn out very quickly throughout the season. So they were in a position where they had a little extra capital, and they decided that they wanted to try to tackle that project and take a look at improving that practice facility, not only for the LPGA, but more so for their membership. And try to give them a practice facility that they could hit full-length shots without having to worry hitting into adjacent holes through the range, and having a practice tee that was large enough that could withstand the wear and tear throughout the year. So we stepped back and looked at a master plan that we had put together in the early 2000s at that time, and we were able to make some slight modifications, adjustments to their ninth hole, or the 18th hole as the LPGA plays it. And by shifting that green and shifting the tees back, we were able to provide enough room to pull the driving range tee back and create a driving range that was what we have today, which is a world-class driving range facility with a very large practice tee that can withstand the wear and tear throughout the year. It has a number of target greens throughout the range. It has a lower tee that allows them to work on wedge shots and other things along those lines. So it's been very well received from the membership as well as the LPGA.
Greg, what have you learned hosting an LPGA tournament both with and without spectators as you had to go through the COVID-19 era this past summer?
It's a lot easier for us to host without spectators, but spectators need to be, they need to sell tickets to get people in the watch the tournament. But it was very interesting during the COVID. I'm glad we got to host the tournament. We were the second tournament back, just behind Inverness, and it was good for our membership. It was good for just golf in general.
What maintenance challenges, or what do you do differently when a tournament's coming to town, in terms of, do you do anything differently?
In all honesty, we really don't. We're kind of midsummer, so we're in our peak season at that time. So we stop mowing rough, maybe a little more detail work, like kind of inside the ropes, and we can focus on those areas. But all in all, it's pretty much the same that we do on a daily basis.
So, Greg, I know we got the practice facility fixed, and you still had some issues with your bunkers. Can you tell us a little bit kind of what the internal discussions were, and how did it come about that we were approved to go forward with rebuilding all the bunkers?
We have a great membership here, very active, not only on the golf course, but they're also active, in committee structures and the board. And they put a 5 to 10 year long range plan with the master plan. And bunkers were a huge part of that. Our bunkers were kind of like Art had mentioned earlier. We haven't done much to them since the 50s, 60s. So there was zero drainage, kind of a hodgepodge of different sands that have been thrown in over the years, and just normal wear and tear. The bunkers had increased size, decreased size. So we put that plan together. Our membership approved it, and we were able to complete it in the spring of 2020 and worked on it fall of 19. And everybody that's here loves the new bunkers.
Shawn, what can you tell us about your approach with the bunker, perhaps look or style, the sand, how it relates to the green surfaces?
Yeah, the original bunkers, they kind of evolved into kind of more of a sand flashed bunker that carried all the way to the top line. And as Greg alluded to, we were able to create a flat bottom floor bunker with strong grass faces that created really dramatic shadow faces that helped to define the targets, both the greens and the fairways. We were able to reposition some of those fairway bunkers to kind of get them in a better location that challenged the length at which people hit the ball today, because many of those bunkers were well short to where the longest hitters were hitting the ball. So now they're out challenging the better players and not unduly penalizing the shorter hitters. And one of the fun things that we did on this project, and I give credit to Greg for kind of pushing the envelope when we first started doing it, was we took a lot of the fairways and we dumped them right into the front end of these bunkers. So on the fairway bunkers and even some of the greenside bunkers, there's no rough ribbon that runs between the bunker itself and the fairway itself, which is kind of fun in the sense that it really kind of maximizes the strategic value of those bunkers, because if a ball's bounding towards that bunker, it doesn't get hung up in that last 2-3 feet. And it creates a really neat interface that just kind of shows an attention to detail that you just don't see in a lot of places.
Well, Arthur, I don't know if you've had a chance to get around the new golf course. I think it has some certainly some new characteristics, and you might want to come back and you might want to consider a second membership here, perhaps.
I think that on the original routing here on the golf course, that it would be good to move the 13th green over close to the 14th tee, which would lengthen the hole, and I don't think it would be in conflict with the original number 10, but I think it would make the back nine a better, stronger nine. Otherwise, I just think Highland Meadows is a wonderful golf course, and I've always enjoyed it a lot.
Excellent. Greg, you got a to-do list for next week then? Get that project moving. Gentlemen, we thank you so much for your time here today. And Greg, best wishes with the tournament next year. We look to see a full spectator contingent here, and look forward to seeing your efforts displayed for the whole world. Thank you so much.